All right, so BC has raised the allowable rental increase from landlord to tenant to 3.5%. I believe it was 2% last year and 1% or 1.5% in 2022. Now, I don't agree with rent control. Maybe controversial, but I've done a lot of videos about this in the past, and I'm gonna explain to you guys why I don't agree with it. When you have rent control in place, you have a bunch of people who are paying far below market rates. I mean, just look at the last 2 years. A landlord could have raised the rent like what, 3% to 3.5%, yet rent has gone up like 30%. So you have a bunch of renters paying 25% below market value or possibly even more. Now, a bunch of these renters probably actually need to move, right? Like they have a kid coming, they're getting married, maybe they want to move closer to work, whatever it is. However, when they're paying so far below market rent, it's just, why wouldn't you stay there as long as you possibly can and tough it out because you're getting such a good deal? And the second you move, your rent is going to go up 30%. Well, the result of a bunch of people doing that is less rental supply circulating through the market at any given time. And although in the short term this doesn't have a massive effect, the effect over 5 to 10 years can be colossal on rental rates. Basically, the trajectory of which rental rates go up would be a lot steeper than it otherwise would be without rental control in place. I mean, just look at the resale market right now, the buy and sell real estate market. You have a bunch of people who want to move, but they're paying old interest rates, and they know the second they move, they're going to have to pay much higher interest rates, like their payment's going to go up like 40% right away, and the result of that is way less inventory circulating through the market, and that's why prices in the resale market have remained elevated. Pretty much the exact same thing as rent control. So although rent control seems like a good idea in the short term, and don't get me wrong, it definitely helps renters in the short term for a couple years, but eventually your landlord is going to want to sell that property because you are paying far below market rates. They're going to sell, you're probably going to have to move, and then what's likely going to happen is you're going to have to pay a rental rate that is substantially higher than it otherwise would have been with no rental control in place. And your payment's going to jump from like $2,000 a month to $3,000, just like that. So that's my take on rent control, and you're free to disagree with it, but in my opinion, you'd be disagreeing with the basic mechanics of supply and demand. And supply and demand is a naturally organic occurring thing, almost like an ecosystem. And the second you start synthetically messing around with an ecosystem, you're gonna have unintended repercussions that surface somewhere down the line. Like if you artificially suppress pricing when there is demand for higher prices, you're gonna have an issue on the supply side, which then actually increases prices. Like if I build a bunch of $2 million homes, but I'm not allowed to sell them for more than $1.5 million, of course, everybody and their grandmother is gonna wanna buy one, and I'm gonna run out of $2 million homes pretty damn fast. So that's my take on rent control. Now, I do think this is a small win for landlords given the recent history on rent increases. That being said, we know the prices of everything have gone up a hell of a lot more than, the 6% allowable increase that is accumulated over the last 3 years. Like mortgages are nearly up double, strata fees are up like 60%, insurance is up like 50%, property tax is up a whole bunch. Everything is up far more than 6%. So it is a win, but it's still very minuscule in the grand scheme of things. And I know renters won't be happy about this. I would actually say it's a win for some of you and a loss for others, because for the people that it might be a win for, it might just be enough of an increase that your landlord doesn't actually need to sell that property and uproot you from your home. Because I personally know tenants that would be more than happy to pay their landlord a bit extra money just so they can stay there. The problem is a landlord is taking on a massive legality risk by accepting your money. So it just makes more sense for them to not take that risk at all, sell the property, and then just put that capital into another investment property at new market rates. But for some of you, that 3.5% increase might be just enough to satisfy your landlord's needs and hopefully allow you to continue living in that property for another several years. And for the tenants that it's going to hurt, my sincerest condolences. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm that Agent Kelly, and I'm making moves to move you. Peace.